Painting in the Abstract, Women Inspired by the Masters. It's the latest gallery installation at the Great Park Art Gallery. Co-curator Susan Walsh explains the diverse works and the role of California women in this show.
So when you walk into the space, when you read the opening placard, you'll see, and in the title, you'll see abstract expressionism referenced, which was a mode of painting that came out of World War II and the start of the Cold War. It had both very strong men and women as part of the movement. The men have often been the ones that are remembered, but the women also created tremendous works of art. We're talking large canvases, bold strokes, and abstract, so not representing anything in particular.
The emphasis is on color, texture, and composition.
We're celebrating the influence of the female painters of abstract expressionism and abstract American painting, and how their influence is still influencing painters of today.
In this multi-generational show, there's a range of work from UCI graduate students to an artist who passed in her 90s, leaving a legacy of work behind. Dianne Reeves is the daughter of artist Suki Berg, who tells us her mother was active in the art community until the age of 93.
Well, I don't know that she always thought she did incredible work. Part of being an artist is getting to that place where you are comfortable with being an artist. And my mother worked at it all the time, studied and painted, and enjoyed doing it.
Maggie Tennyson's work reflects hard edge painting.
Actually, that painting was based on a weaving idea. A single strand is forming the color and the movement across the surface.
As for the painting in the middle of the wall, triangles were on her mind.
Mountains and striation and the earth and the way it structures.
A collection that dissolves the boundaries between painting and photography, bringing light into play, is the work of Fatima Burns.
I create layers and movement out with the camera, and by creating props and setups, and so just and the process is very important, and I make them. So the finishes are resins that they hand sanded, and to get to a finish that the light goes behind the surface.
In addition, Shear Holt, a filmmaker, is debuting his documentary on one of the California masters, Clyde Alexander.
And I've been working with Clyde as part of a film series we're making called California Masters. The film series is being produced in association with the Laguna Art Museum. And we're doing a series of films on a lot of the artists from the 40s, 50s, and even into the 60s who kind of defined California art and put contemporary California art on the map.
Jane Bauman's art explores climate influences in Southern California.
Almost do paintings that were like sympathetic magic in a way. Like I wanted to create images of flower beds being submerged in water, of different like images of what does submersion look like. And the larger piece there is literally called Submerged Flower Bed. And it is about the life-giving aspects of water.
Among the collection, there's a wall displaying the works of two graduate students from UCI. Andrea Welton's canvases give a sense of landscape and topography influenced by her love of nature and hiking. Next is Amy McKay. Time standing still and building layers in a specific environment plays into her paintings.
The viewer, whatever they perceive in the space and kind of their own imaginative response to it is as much, more interesting and important than me saying, oh, this is a picture of this. So it's more just about kind of how our own mind projects kind of our own lived experience into these abstract spaces.
Riley and her dad, Randy Mannion, are visiting from New York and took some time out to tour the show.
So we see a lot of different shows in New York, a lot of contemporary things, and it was just nice to stumble into this and to see some art on a day when we weren't expecting it.
I appreciate the show because it's a mixture of abstract and contemporary, and the abstract sort of mixes in the contemporary work so that you can see a picture, but it's not fully there, and it has some parts to interpret yourself.
Now that you know more about the artists and the inspiration behind their pieces, you can see the show up close. Painting in the Abstract, Women Inspired by the Masters runs until November 12th. For Irvine Scene, I'm Jacqueline Twegg.